Can I welcome everyone to our 2023 Christmas lunch, which really heralds the end of what has been a busy and most rewarding year for RUSI New South Wales. When Ron Lyons and I were discussing the protocols for this Christmas lunch at an events committee meeting with Paul Simidis just a few days back last week, I was actually reminded of a luncheon in Malaysia that I had attended as Commanding Officer of the 2nd 17th Battalion just a few days after Christmas in early January 2001, where my shortcomings in the protocol department were on display for all to see. The Christmas rotation for Rifle Company Butterworth that year was provided by the 2nd 17th Battalion, which was the first time that a fully fledged reserve unit had undertaken such a deployment, and I was visiting the company. Now, incidentally, my brigade commander at that time was one Paul Irving. I don't believe I've previously confessed this tale to him. The company had entered barracks in southern Malaysia, in Pahang, and the commandant of the barracks, having been informed that I was visiting, extended an invitation to lunch, or what might more accurately be described as a late morning tea with all the trimmings. A courtesy, but also, I suspect, with the ulterior motive of taking photographs of us for their intelligence records, which was their want, and which was particularly galling for my company commander, who had a background in special forces and was especially sensitive to such activity. In any event, after the pleasantries and official photographs were taken, with several of the commandant's staff in the room and an array of Malaysian delicacies laid out before us, there was a distinct pause in proceedings, and my company commander, who had already been in country by then for some time and was much more versed in the local protocols, he actually leant over to me and whispered in my ear to let me know that everyone was waiting for me to take the first piece of food, sort of like waiting for the dining president to start the meal at a formal function. So with everyone watching, I reached forward, chose a small delicacy that I could recognise, some rice wrapped in what I later learnt was a banana leaf, and took a bite, at which time my company commander again leant across and whispered into my ear, Sir, you're eating the plate, you've got to unwrap it. So such was my introduction to international relations. Now, I trust our Christmas fare today won't present such hazards. What I'd like to do in this short address is to acknowledge some of the achievements of the past year, reflect on where we are at present, and look at the opportunities for RUSI New South Wales in 2024. First, let me mention with gratitude the efforts of recent past presidents, and I'm sure you will join with me in conveying to David Leese and his wife Priscilla, who are usual regular attenders at this event and who have had so much to contend with this past year, our heartfelt best wishes for David's speedy recovery as he completes the last of his 30 chemotherapy sessions at the end of this month. David is an inspiration to us all, and for me, a valued mentor, and we wish him well. Can I also note and extend our thanks? To Paul Irving, who recently stood down from the board as our immediate past president, but who can be found most days, probably more than Karen would like, at the Ursula Davidson Library, hosting visitors, managing the library and liaising with Anzac Memorial staff, in addition, I might add, to his responsibilities as President of RUSI Australia. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge the efforts of our new immediate past President, Michael Howe, and indeed the efforts of all our board members, who together have overseen what I consider was a very successful year for RUSI New South Wales. One of the highlights was the 4th International Dialogue on Managing Strategic Tensions in the Indo-Pacific. That was held in May at the New South Wales Parliament House Auditorium. It attracted a quality program of speakers, including the Assistant Minister for Defence, who delivered the Blamey oration, and was attended by a good mix of serving ADF personnel and RUSI New South Wales members. For organising this event and for the constant high quality of our monthly lectures and seminar series across the year, which mainly explored the implications of both the AUKUS agreement and more recently the Defence Strategic Review, I must acknowledge the outstanding work of Ron Lyons and his Events Committee. Also worthy of special mention is the growth over the year of our Javelin monograph series, ably led by board member Diana Figgis, who in her first year of editing has seen 11 monographs of exceptional quality posted and available online on our website. Another satisfying feature of this year's activities has been the strong support that we continue to receive from our patron, Her Excellency the Governor of New South Wales, the Honourable Margaret Beasley, who opened our international dialogue and hosted an afternoon tea reception at Government House in August this year, commemorating RUSI New South Wales' 135th birthday. Equally satisfying is the support given by our vice patrons, the Fleet Commander, the Army Forces Commander, the Commander of the 2nd Division, the Air Commander, and the Chief Executive Officer of Thales Australia and New Zealand. One significant outgrowth from this patronage was the agreement reached between RUSI New South Wales and the Royal Australian Navy to enable the award of achievement prizes to the top graduates of the new RAN Officer Employment Classification courses being conducted at HMAS Watson by the Military Intelligence Officers Wing. Now, a senior RUSI New South Wales representative attended the first 2 graduation events conducted earlier this year, and as I speak, Chris Skinner and Michael Flynn are attending the 3rd such event being held at HMAS Watson today. The final project that I should mention is Michael Howe's initiative to explore the possibility of RUSI New South Wales partnering with the Universities of Newcastle and Wollongong to set up a consortium aimed at providing a capability to address current issues and challenges of those currently serving in the ADF. We've made a promising start and we're developing a relationship with the RAAF Air Command's Directorate of Innovation and Improvement. Now, this project is in its formative stage, but is a very significant one in its implications, and I'm very thankful that Michael Howe has agreed to continue to drive this project on behalf of RUSI New South Wales. Let me now just say something about the present. Now, in preparing my remarks for today, I again had occasion to listen to the recent address given by retired Major General Duncan Lewis, which was delivered at a dinner organised by the ACT RUSI, a recording of which is in our video library on the RUSI New South Wales website. It's an outstanding presentation from an accomplished retired Australian Army officer who's a former Special Operations Commander Australia, National Security Advisor, Secretary of the Department of Defence, Director General of ASIO, and a distinguished diplomat. And if you haven't yet had the opportunity to listen to it, it's well worth your time, and I'd encourage you to do so. Now, he talks of 5 challenges facing Australia in an uncertain and fractured world, and makes the point that the creation of awareness of defence and security matters in the public arena, always important, is particularly important at this time, and that anything that RUSI can do to generate discussion and awareness is very worthwhile. And it's sobering to be reminded that what we are doing and what we have done in New South Wales for over 135 years is important. Informing the national debate on defence and security issues is what we are about, and what we aim to achieve through our magnificent library, our challenging lectures and seminars, and informative publications, and we should not underestimate our reach. It's pleasing to see regular attendances of some 50 people at our lunchtime lectures in recent times. But through our national magazine, our newsletter and our social media platforms, which we track, it is clear that we reach many thousands more. Our online presence continues to grow, and we have a significant and increasing international audience, although sobering to observe that a large part of that audience resides in China, which, along with Australia and the USA, regularly appears on our list of top 4 countries visiting our web pages. The 4th spot is usually contested by Germany, India and Great Britain. The other gratifying observation that I want to make is that we are blessed in RUSI New South Wales to have such a brilliant, dedicated and committed team supporting all that we do. Our board members, Jim Braid and Ian Mitchell, who look after our membership, David Toos, our treasurer, John Howes, the board secretary, webmaster, video producer, cameraman, film editor and director, all rolled into one, Chris Skinner, chair of our innovation committee, and David Deasy assisting Ron Lyons, vice president and chair of our events committee. Diana Figgis, editor of our Javelin series, who I've already mentioned, and Joe Matthews, editor of United Service, which is now our national magazine. Alan Smith, our office manager, Ken Broadhead, former board member who's with us today and who looks after our maps, and all other library volunteers who are managed by Paul Irving, wearing yet another hat as our library manager. Our part-time librarians, Theo Fox and Carol Miller, and the knowledgeable members of our very active and vibrant strategy special interest group, coordinated by David Lease and standing in for him this month, Ian Wolfe. And I can't not mention the history-making event, the most welcome election of Theo Fox, the first woman Vice President of RUSI New South Wales. Theo is a powerhouse for RUSI New South Wales, the person responsible for our monthly newsletter and someone who richly deserves this history-making appointment. I'm humbled to be elected as the president of such a talented group of people. Now a few words about where we are looking to go as the year unfolds and beyond. We are currently locking in what we hope will be another highly successful, relevant and thought-provoking series of monthly lectures. We kick off next year with our usual historical lecture in January, and this year a presentation on Field Marshal Sir Thomas Blamey to be delivered by his grandson. And thereafter we have an array of quality speakers lined up, including Associate Professor Adam Lockyer, Associate Professor in Strategic Studies at Macquarie University, who will discuss where the Defence Strategic Review fits in with the new era of great power politics in the Pacific. Professor Peter Dean, one of the architects of the Defence Strategic Review, and the Ukrainian ambassador, who has accepted our invitation to speak in June. We also want to invite speakers to allow us to look more deeply at the outcome of the Naval Fleet Review. We're planning a number of extended lunchtime lectures to explore important issues in greater detail. In May, we hope to host a presentation and panel discussion with the Inspector General of the ADF, Jim Gaynor, and others involved in investigating war crimes in the Ukraine, to explore the rights and duties of armed forces personnel in peacetime and wartime, looking at the quandary of policy and practice, asking the question, how do you fight a war in a built-up area occupied by a civilian population that cannot be evacuated in advance? The very quandary the Israeli Defence Force is currently confronting. Then in August, another extended monthly lecture or series of lectures is being planned to consider another significant issue for the ADF, informed by our analysis of the Defence Strategic Review, concerning the significant shortfall in defence personnel and how we might go about closing that personnel gap, looking at mobilisation and what that might entail, and asking the question whether the traditional conscription model, a solution advocated by RUSI in its submission to the Defence Strategic Review, is a realistic option in Australia. We hope to look at what other countries do, what it would cost and whether it works, and if there is a conscription model that will work in Australia. In 2025 we are looking to host the 5th International Defence and Security Dialogue. We will continue to progress the university's consortium initiative, continue to work towards introducing a new office management database solution to improve our office systems and our communications with membership, and offering that back of office system to support other RUSIs across Australia. It's also my intention to continue to work with RUSI Australia to explore ways to promote nationwide RUSI membership with reciprocal access to other RUSIs, so that, for example, a serving member who joins in, say, South Australia can have seamless access to RUSI facilities and programs in all states, no matter where he or she might be posted in Australia subsequently. An important factor for active current serving defence members considering joining RUSI. Let me close by noting that next year is also the 90th anniversary of the opening of the Anzac Memorial. We have already had discussions with memorial staff, and we will be supporting and participating in the 90th anniversary celebrations and activities through the year. One of the initiatives already bearing fruit from those discussions will see RUSI New South Wales events broadcast more widely, being advertised by the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Anzac Memorial on their websites as part of their communication strategy. So a lot of good planning is already underway, and we look forward to another rewarding year for RUSI New South Wales. So thank you for your attendance here today. I hope I haven't kept you too long from your dessert, and keep an eye out for banana leaves. And on behalf of the board, can I wish each and every one of you a joyous and happy Christmas, and I hope to see you all again in the new year at one of our RUSI events. God bless.